We got everybody coming in. We'll give it maybe 30 more seconds before Clayton and I dive in. So thank you guys for joining here this afternoon. All right, perfect. Well, I will go ahead and dive in. Just so everybody knows, we do have this recorded. We will be posting it out after the fact. So if anybody wants to watch this later, share it with your team, anything like that, just know that that will be. It's great to see everybody on board. I see a good majority of our clients, including the only undefeated football team in the nation right now with Central Arkansas. So McKenzie, give you that shout out. You're welcome. But Clayton and I are really excited to highlight a new product that we came out with about 2 weeks ago now. We've had some schools and teams already throw it into their apps. We've been excited to see, what it's been doing. And so in the spirit of what we're launching, which is trivia, we're going to fire out a trivia question. And this is something that I've mentioned in every single demo that I've had, whether it was this week or 3.5 years ago. But who was from now on's first client? I think there are a couple answers, in front of you. So go ahead and throw out your guess there. I'll give you about 10 seconds. And with that, we will go to the next slide and just do quick introductions. So I think I've virtually met in person, whether it was NACDA, NACMA, conference, you name it, every single person that's been on this call. And so, like I mentioned, we're excited to be able to highlight FanX Trivia, our new product that we're launching. And with that, I'm gonna hand it off to Clayton, and he's going to walk through the first part of this with you before I dive into the demo.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy. And a lot of familiar faces on here I see. For those that don't know me, I'm Clayton Taylor, work on the same team as Harry and Sydney, as I'm sure at least everyone on this call is familiar with one of those three names. So again, welcome and thanks for joining, and let's get into some of the details here.
Before we dive in, Clayton, let's do trivia real quick. Answer to trivia. What did that end up being? I think Riley's helping us out. He's our marketing coordinator. We almost had everyone answer it right. It was the University of Nebraska at Omaha. I wanted to give out a clue that it was in the city that we're in, and it's also Clayton's alma mater, but you guys almost all nailed it, which is great.
Yeah, go Mavs. So let's just start with a little bit of background, kind of how we got here, how we decided to launch this new product. Really, it was based on partner and client feedback, right? So we're looking at the scenario like this. There's season cancellations. At the very least, there's restricted attendance for all the partners that we're working with. And we still have this engaged set of fans, addressable set of fans. And we really needed a way for engaging them while there's no games going on. So that was kind of part one of the landscape that drove us towards trivia here. And if we jump to the next slide, we'll see the second part of this is sponsor activation. So kind of same scenario here. Some of our clients have season cancellations, others have restrictions. How do we continue to engage sponsors and get eyeballs on those sponsor placements when right now, the in-venue placements are not a thing, right? So how can we help our schools reach those sponsors and continue to drive sponsor value that way. So that leads us to kind of how we see ourselves fitting into the mix here. So again, our vision as a company is to be the digital marketing and communications platform for sports and events. And what we do kind of as part of our road mapping each summer is look at these different categories across the bottom and kind of say, where do we have gaps? Where can we really make a difference in this upcoming season? And as we were looking at this season, some of the things on this list, you can tell, with no games going on, maybe aren't as important or I guess are not as relevant at this time, maybe ticketing, live game audio, live game video, those types of things. But where we saw a lot of opportunity was around the gamification piece, where we can say, hey, regardless of whether there's games going on, we can do some engaging things in the app that either help people that are at the game or watching from home or just hanging out because there's no sports going on. So again, I'll mention quickly our innovation lab. That's what this product was born out of. It's what our developers spend a couple of hours per month on, looking at emerging technology, looking at the industry, and building out products that we hope to eventually bring to our clients and bring to our prospects as an add value or a value add for the app. So again, that's just a little bit of background on kind of how we got here. So with that, this is our product suite. I know a lot of you will be familiar with some of the things on here. FanX Rewards, kind of our attendance rewards program for fans and students. FanX Plus being that website integration. FanX Reality was actually the first thing we pulled out of our innovation lab. That was, I think, last summer. And then our connector program, how we connect with the other third parties that you're working with. So with that, the newest one, again, is FanX Trivia, and I'll turn things over to Jeremy to kind of do a deep dive into the demo and kind of explain what the feature itself is.
Awesome. Thanks, Clayton. So I forgot to mention this at the beginning too, but please, if anybody has any questions throughout the demo, we will answer questions at the end. So there is that chat on the very bottom. As I'm walking through any of this, please make sure to throw those questions in that chat. So to piggyback off of what Clayton said, we've been seeing and hearing across the athletics landscape around continuing to drive engagement for fans, for students, while they're so addressable. And wanting to continue that into fall, winter, and beyond that, there are games, like you said, limited capacity, games with 0 fans or no games at all. And not only that, the sponsors are also looking for new ways to get in front of fans if they're so used to being maybe in those more traditional spots within the stadium, signage, game day programs, things of that nature. They're looking, for more things that are interactive, engaging, and maybe more of a lead generator as well. So if we were in venue, obviously you're pulling your fans' attention to the video board or halftime shows or handing out those coupons and so much more. Now with that uncertainty of where fans are going to be at, athletic departments and teams in general still need to reach them. So this is bringing us to, we've been listening. We're excited to announce the new product that we've launched of FanX Trivia. Our quote is, you're able to inspire your fans with games that are always in season, which we're excited about. So as these bullet points hit on, you're able to spark fan passion that keeps them coming back to the app, which is great. You're driving engagement, whether or not that fan is going to the game or sitting on the couch at home. And it really helps entice sponsors with that new digital inventory as well. And so the great thing about this too, and if we go to the next slide, is that it's going to be free for this year, which is great. In light of all of this uncertainty, we're trying to help athletic departments and teams, I see you, Dave, get this in the hands of their fans and have it be valuable for them and your sponsors, like we said. Our goal is to be a helpful tool and have it be available for free for any clients to use this year, and hope you do take advantage of that. So with that said, I'm going to pop over into the demo piece. Give me a second here. and walk through the demo with you guys. So Clayton will walk through a lot of the details here after a bit on how to get it added into the app, but I want to show you what that final product will look like. You probably see a lot of familiar teams here, but the one I want to walk through is going to be our own Fighting Pandas of Exarban Tech on that top left-hand side. So you can tie them in just like any other part of the app with a notification, and we can throw it into a card anywhere within the app, whether it's the fan guide or your home screen. We've got it very front and center. So with this, a great example would be, hey, it's Tuesday. We have Trivia Tuesday going on. Let's tie this moment and brand it up to one of our biggest sponsors, which is Papa John's. Send out that notification at 10, 11 a.m. hungry for some Papa John's. Try out Papa John's new trivia for your chance to win 50% off your lunchtime meal. So you're getting your fans fully engaged and you're making that sponsor happy. So clicking into the trivia piece, as you can see, we have it very much branded up to however you guys would like to do that. We can help you out, what have you, as well as that sponsor. So we have some fun questions in here. You guys are allowed to have as many questions in here for trivia as you want. And there's a couple different ways that we can throw in answers. You can have just one particular answer. We'll say, hey, all of the above, answer that. It will showcase whether or not they got it right or wrong, which is great. You can also add in photos to this too. So I don't know if anyone knows the answer on which school has the most D1 men's basketball championships. If anyone wants to try and throw it in chat, this is another fun one that we have. If you answered UCLA, that is correct, because they won, I think, 30 in a row way back in the day. And you're also able to have multi-answered questions as well. So that just means if you say pick, 2 of the 4 or 3 of the 4 from this as an answer, we only have one average app rating. It's going to be the highest one on here, I hope, but I did get that right. So I think you guys get the gist of the trivia piece. So when it's all said and done, this is where you can also tie back that sponsor to, hey, you've answered so many right, you get this promo. We also can tie this back to rewards. So for the schools that have, or teams in schools that have added on rewards, you can tie this back and give fans another way to earn points towards their profile rather than just having to go to games. So saying, hey, you can have X amount of points for doing the trivia, and you also get X amount of points per question you get right. And so again, that's just another great way to tie them back in with that uncertainty of whether or not, they're going to be going to as many games. So that was something important that we wanted to make sure we threw in here. So that kind of shows you the gist of it. When you're ending, ties back and goes straight back to the home screen as well. So we'll dive back into the presentation. Riley, if you want to throw that up for me. Awesome. If you want to go to the next slide for me as well. So we've already had, one of our, what we like to call one of our star client schools add in trivia, as they saw it as 2 things, very fast and very easy. It was fast adoption and easy to set up with very low effort. Which again is something Clayton will go over shortly. Minnesota State Moorhead, their Division II program of ours, they already had a sponsor on board as well and tied that back from an engagement standpoint. But their story, the why behind they did it last week, is they utilized the new FanX Trivia feature to really reinforce what they've already been communicating at their welcome week with students back on campus. They're lucky enough to have students back. They created a check-in event for points as they have our FanX Rewards and Loyalty feature. As well as they told students about trivia for bonus points. So if a student did both check in and do trivia, they were entered in for a chance to win a cooler and chair, as well as a $100 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. Say no more, I'm in, I'm gonna do it. But students instantly got the app, they downloaded it, they created that profile, they checked in, and then they did trivia. So they did an amazing job with that. And let's dive into the numbers real quick from the screen. When you look at MSUM's engagement rate, with just trivia alone, something we looked at, that they launched, it was their #1 new download week in 2020, which is great. Not only that, their weekly active devices doubled, and they had, count them, 5 times the amount of sessions hitting on engagement and clicks, what's normally on their highest clicked on feature or placed within the app, which is their schedule. So they had 5 times higher. Not only that, but the time that their fans spent within the app jumped from 2.5 minutes to 10.2 minutes. So that's almost 5 times as much as well. So this is something that Clayton, Harry, Sydney, one of your coaches would be happy to brainstorm through with best practices as we continually see use case scenarios like this one. So please don't hesitate to reach out to one of them, even if you have ideas and want to brainstorm through them too. So with that, I'm going to toss it back to Clayton.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. So really quick, this is going to be just about how we actually set this up and push one of these live. We've got it broken down into kind of these 4 steps. We'll start with brainstorming the questions. I would say another thing that goes into this brainstorming phase would maybe be, hey, how often do we want to run these quizzes? Are we going to do them weekly, monthly, some other cadence? So that'd be part of that kind of brainstorming. And then, kind of who's going to run the quizzes on your guys' end would be another piece of that. So once you've kind of got those things figured out, create the quiz. We'll jump into the content management system here momentarily and kind of show you how you actually build one of these out. And then once you've built one, the last kind of step is publishing it to the app, which Jeremy showed you. We just do right through our promotions functionality. The reason we did that is it makes it really easy to schedule these so that they're only live for like a time boxed period of time, and that you can, schedule them to kind of rotate if you have multiple quizzes going on, one for the first week, one for the second, et cetera. And then, bonus, obviously including sponsors, we'll cover that in the content management system too. But, once you kind of get your trivia, I guess, recurring, formula off the ground, then including sponsors would be kind of that final bonus step. So I'm going to take over the screen here and we'll dive into the portal. All right. So the first thing I'll mention, to have this feature turned on the back end, it's just as easy as shoot me an email, shoot Sydney or Harry an email. There's just a toggle that we flip on school by school that'll turn the feature on. And then from there, it's just going to be in your operations menu. There's a new category here for trivia games. So this is where we'll create all the quizzes. So we've got the one that Jeremy ran through as Panda Trivia. I just created this one right before we hopped on just for us to walk through. If we wanted to create a brand new one, we're just going to hit this add button. But for the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to click into this one to show you how you fill all this out. So each trivia has a name. For our rewards schools or rewards clients, you'll see that there's a field for filling out, hey, how many points does someone get just for taking the quiz, right? So this is if they got everything wrong, we're still going to give them 100 points. Background image, optional. Again, this shows up in the background of each question. And then we've got our kind of intro and results pages. So when Jeremy was doing his demo, the very first screen you get is this introduction part. And then the very last screen you get is the results. So you're free to fill out whatever messaging you want to include here for both the intro and results page, along with any imagery that you want to include. So if there's a sponsor you want included on there, otherwise, just a generic image would be fine as well. So for questions, you'll see here's kind of how you add those in. Again, you can customize whatever you want the question to be, and you can also customize the amount of points they'll get for getting a question right. So this would be in addition to those 100 points that they get for just playing. And then answers, a very similar story here, where you're just going to add different answers to each question and select which one is the correct answer. Another example of a question, I will mention a couple of things on these questions. If I select multi-select here, as Jeremy mentioned earlier, this just sets this up as a select all that apply question. So if there was multiple answers, we can just select multiple of them down in the answers section. And then the other piece I'll mention is the question images. So Jeremy did demo one sample question that had images attached to it. And all you need to do is just drag and drop those images into this field, and they just show up along the top above the answers. So maybe logos, pictures of players, depending on the question that you're doing, that can be a really powerful feature. And then let's see, I think we've got help text up here that lets you know that you can do as many questions as you want. I think our best practice right now is somewhere between like 3 and 10 questions, just because I don't think you want to make those quizzes too long for your fans. But hypothetically, you could make a 150 question quiz if you wanted to, and have your fans run through that. All right, so once we've got this game created, if I hit save here, you'll see that it's going to show up in my list here. Right now, just because it's showing up in this list does not mean that it's live in the app. The reason we built it this way was so that you could hypothetically come in here and create 5 or 10 weeks of quizzes and just have them ready on the back end to then pull into the app when the time is right. So to actually push these live, I'm going to jump over into our promotions tab here. And again, I'll mention when we hit this page, this is showing me everything that I've currently got live in the app. So you can see Jeremy's Play Trivia Tuesday, promotion right here. And that's what he demoed there in the app a few minutes ago. Now, if we wanted to, let's say, create one of these from scratch, what you're going to do is come into Manage Templates, hit the Add button. And then the only secret to doing trivia versus, let's say, just a regular promotion is this toggle right here. You'll see there's 3 options: open to the detail page, open to a URL, and we're going to choose this third option, which is take the user to a page in the app. And so what I'll do is I'm going to select trivia game, and then I'm going to see any trivia games that I've created on the back end in this list here. So Panda Trivia is Jeremy's, Clayton's Demo Trivia is the one we just created, so I'll select that one. And go ahead and just hit create. And again, I'm doing this really fast just for demo purposes. Certainly you could go through here, add your imagery. If there's different things you want to configure on this promotion, you're more than welcome to. So now I've got my template created. Let's go back to our promotions homepage and push this live. So let's find, I don't remember what I called that. Did I call it trivia? There we go. All right, and then my last step here, so you can see I've got this ready to publish. If I want to fill out a notification, I can do that. If I want to schedule this to go out later in the week, I can do that as well. And again, once I've got this filled out the way that I want it, I'm just going to hit this green publish button, and it's going to pop right into the app, just like another card on that home screen. So again, the steps here are pretty simple. Brainstorm those trivia questions, create the quiz, and then use our promotions functionality here to actually push the quiz live to the app. Let's see, Jeremy, anything I missed with that little explanation? Does that feel?
No, I guess one of the questions I think I would have had from a school saying, can you use the same trivia template and just change out the questions each week, or would you need to create a new one each time? If we have a Trivia Tuesday each week.
Yeah, that's a great question. So that would be our recommendation, is to have a single trivia promotion. And then the only thing you'd change week to week is from that drop down, picking the new quiz. So you might have 5 quizzes week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're just picking the next one up on that single promotion.
Gotcha. Another question I come in, and please keep them coming, is does trivia work with rewards? Yes. Do I need rewards activated to use trivia? And so no, you do not need rewards activated to use trivia. Again, this is meant for anybody that has the app. We would just take out the points piece of it, so that way it doesn't need them to log into their account or what have you. That is something that if you do have rewards at that fan, if they want to get those points, obviously they have to be logged into their account to do that. Another one, Clayton, maybe for you, is what are some best practices around running trivia challenges?
Yeah, so I'll maybe talk about a couple different things here, and a few we've touched on already. One is the number of questions. We're in favor of shorter is better, typically. Just keep the fans' attention, let them get through that. So that'd be one piece. 3 to 10 questions probably is where I'd try to stick. The other one is making these recurring. So I think that helps build fan habits if they know that trivia is happening every Tuesday or every Wednesday. Kind of keeping that habit formed would be another best practice that we'd like to share. And I have one more, and it's escaping me right now, but I'll think of it and pop in as we continue here.
Okay. Another one is, can a link from a sponsor pop up at the end if you win to get a special prize or a coupon?
Yeah, it's a good one too. So here's what I'll mention right now for sponsors. The footer ad that we showed that kind of shows up across all the different pages, that's the only part of this that would be able to link out to that sponsor website. So you could have, Papa John's, tap here to get to your menu, and that little footer would take you out. As we develop the feature, that's one of the first things that we have in kind of phase 2 of this, is to make that results page a little bit more interactive, where maybe we're linking to an online ordering or linking to somewhere else for our sponsors. So short answer is the footer links now. Likely that's going to be coming very shortly to kind of make that last page a little more rich.
Okay. And that kind of tees up, and I think you kind of answered this one, is if a sponsor has a coupon or URL to link out to that prize per se, is that possible? It sounds like that will be a phase 2 rather than just a promo code or what have you in that text, correct?
Yep, exactly. And yeah, we might be able to get creative with how we're using that footer. And I'd encourage you to reach out to Harry, Sydney, and myself if we've got a specific scenario that we're trying to execute for a sponsor. We can probably make something work right away.
What about that last ending graphic? Can it be different from winners and losers? Or does it have to be the same one?
Same graphic right now. The only thing that changes on that results page is basically our system's going to spit out what you got right out of 5, right? It's going to tell you got 3 out of 5. But the graphic remains the same for the time being.
Okay, perfect. And this is something I should have hit on. These are 2 questions that are kind of together, but are you able to see analytics and numbers and how many people are playing, as well as, what types of analytics are given, people played, percentage of how many fans answered each question, et cetera. What type of data is given to these guys?
Yeah, so for the time being, that we are going to collect all the information on, how many people are playing, how many people are finishing the quiz would be kind of the 2 main metrics that we're going to track right away. I know that we do collect data on like who's selecting which answers on the back end. I think it's in the phase 2 to make that actually available for you guys to be able to go into the portal, check out, hey, whatever, 25% answered A, 25% B, that sort of thing. So right now we're collecting that data. It's just not displayable, if that makes sense. But for the time being, what we'll definitely report on is, hey, here's how many people took the quiz. Here's how many people finished the quiz as well.
And to piggyback off that too, Clayton, for teams or schools or what have you that have rewards, I know some just have it for students, but say they want their entire fan base to answer the trivia question or questions. You will be able to see who has all answered those questions for the people that do have a profile. So like Dave, with the Patriots, you'll be able to see everybody because your entire fan base does it. Whereas if a school just has, students for the rewards, you'll be able to see, that type of data, as well as they will be able to see within their profile how many they answered, how many points they got to it. Just like if they go to their profile today, they can see what games or events they've checked into, what prizes they've redeemed. That will be another thing that will be on their profile stating, or their history that will state you know, hey, you've answered trivia on this date, here's how many points you earned. Can fans type in answers?
Phase 2, Mackenzie, I think we're going to get there pretty soon. Right now it's pre-populated, just the multiple choice answers. You know, when we sat down in our innovation lab to think through this feature, we were like, we were talking about kind of trivia, polls, and surveys all kind of under the same umbrella. We think there's a lot of overlap between those 3 features, but for the time being, it's multiple choice trivia that we rolled out for this phase 1.
Yeah, but I think to Clayton's point, that is a big phase 2 that we'd like to include, is making sure that fans can answer those questions and type them in themselves.
Definitely.
Awesome. Any others? Great questions, guys. We appreciate them. If something pops up, you know, after the fact, please don't hesitate to reach out to Clayton, Harry, or Sydney as your coach. The only other thing we had, the last couple of slides, again, it doesn't cost you guys a dime. It's a trial for the remainder of this year. So we highly encourage that you turn them on. Like Clayton said, you do have to opt into it. So please reach out to your coach and let them know that you would like to turn it on. And then we can get next steps, help you out, build out your first one, things of that nature. Other than that, you know, thank you for taking some time out of your afternoon, and for the people on the West Coast, still morning technically, walking through the FanX Trivia piece. Keep an eye out on our social media channels. We'll be posting out recordings, best practices, things of that nature as we continually see teams and schools add this on. We're excited for this feature to, again, continually engage your fan base during these uncertain times. But if anything else pops up, you know, please don't hesitate to reach out to Clayton, myself, or anyone else here on our team.
Yeah, I'll echo that. As we start to see our clients and partners roll out different trivia quizzes, I'm sure that these best practices that we have are going to change. So we'll be keeping people up to date on that. You know, most of what we share with you guys comes from a variety of our clients and partners. So updates to come, and yeah, we're really excited about this fall and the new feature.
Awesome. Other than that, have a great rest of the week. Thanks again so much. And if you need anything else, please don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, recording will be coming shortly.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.